So good afternoon to you all. It's fantastic to see so many of you online. I can see some of you still connecting, which is fantastic. Lovely to have such a great group. Today, as you know, normally we would have our weekly call, but we've just superseded that massively. And without further ado, I'm actually going to go straight in and welcome our guest speaker. As you know, we've got lots and lots going on in the business at the moment, but focusing on your growth and focusing on all of the extra things that you can, if you like, strings that you can add to your bow to ensure that your business is booming is absolutely key. So I have absolute pleasure in formally introducing you to our guest speaker, the amazing Allan Blain. He's joined us from Nashville in Tennessee. It's evening over there, so thank you for staying up late for us. He's self-employed promoter just like you, growing a business just like you. Allan and his wife, Nicole, have been users of the Neolife products for some 20 years, but they actually launched their Neolife business 6 years ago in 2015. They are now 4 Ruby directors, which is fantastic. They're members of the International President's Team and now lead a team of nearly 7,000 members and promoters spanning across 7 countries, with so many stories of lives being benefited by the products as a result. So massive expansion and a massive business, which is amazing. At last year's North American convention, 1 month prior to stepping up to International President's Team, they were awarded #1 in the world. But the proudest accomplishment, which is something that sits so dear to my heart when I saw this, was that they actually had 7 of their top 10 world team members were actually from their own organization. And it just goes to show the more that you support other people, the better that feels to you and the greater that you become. So over to Allan, a true business leader, an amazing speaker. Welcome, Allan Blain.
Thank you, Wendy. I sure appreciate that. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you for the very nice, warm welcome and introduction. I'm very, very excited to get to share some information with you all this evening, or I guess this afternoon there in Australia, New Zealand. It's 9 p.m. here, Tuesday night. And actually, we're not in Nashville. We live in Nashville, but Nicole and I are down here in Florida, spending the week just enjoying each other and the beach and hanging out and getting to share this with you all. But anyway, really excited about what I have to share. I guess the plan, and Wendy, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, is I'm going to share some information that has been very, very helpful to us and our team as it relates to social media, specifically Facebook. But a lot of these principles will apply to any social media platform. And then I don't know, that might take somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 45 minutes worth of information. And then we'll just, I'm happy to answer questions if you have time for that. Does that sound right, Wendy? You have about an hour or so total? Okay, great. So hopefully this will be helpful. Look forward to sharing it with you. So before I jump too far deep into this, I want to start by just introducing, I know Wendy did an amazing job introducing us, but they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I guess I'll share with you my family. This here on the screen, this is my wife, Nicole, and myself there in the middle. And we have 6 children and 1 son-in-law. So our 6 children, 5 girls, 1 boy, range from 26 years old down to 14. And this picture is actually a few years old now. But anyway, Nicole and I are going to we're almost 49 years old this year. And Neolife's been a part of our family now for 21 years on the product side. And as Wendy said, 6 years in doing the business. But our story really goes back over 21 years ago when Nicole was diagnosed with several health issues that led us on a health journey. And, we were at the time, I guess, in our mid to late 20s. And she was dealing with things like fatigue and depression and digestive issues and not sleeping well. And anyway, all that led us to searching for solutions. And a couple years later, we stumbled upon Neolife and got started on the products. And over the course of the 6 months that followed, her body that was able to heal itself of all of the issues that she had struggled with for years leading up to that point. And the picture here on the screen is just a picture then, 20 some odd years ago, and more recently. And now, you know, Nicole, if she was here on this call with you, she would tell you that she has more energy and health and vitality today in her late 40s, almost 50 years old, than she did in her 20s. And it's been, and I can validate that as her husband, and it's been exciting to get to see. So we've been very, very passionate about these products for a long time, but it wasn't until 6 years ago that we jumped into the business. And over the last 6 years, we, like Wendy said, have been blessed to have built a, you know, a successful business, and it's been a whole lot of fun. And social media has definitely been, it is not the reason by any means that we've had success, but it has definitely been an integral part. And I'm really excited to share with you a little bit about how we're using it. And then, you know, 30 to 40 minutes, I'm limited on what I can share, but I'll do my very best. So with that being said, I want to talk about, just so I'll let you know up front, the topics that I'm going to cover here on the screen. I want to talk about what is the purpose of social media, at least as we see it, according to us. We'll talk just briefly about how to set up your profile, your Facebook page, if you will, although it's technically not a page, it's a profile. A page would be a business page in Facebook terminology. I want to talk a little bit about what to post. I want to talk about what is a lead, or who is a lead more specifically, because there's a lot of opportunity to start conversations using social media. And I think a lot of people, myself included, for a while did not realize how many conversations I was missing out on, because I didn't really realize who was a lead on social media. And then the last thing I'll spend the most time on is recruiting with Facebook groups. We just got done hosting a 3-day team retreat. I'm gonna stop sharing for just a quick second here. We just got done hosting a 3-day team retreat in the state of Alabama here in the United States for about 106 leaders in our North American team that drove or flew in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this past weekend. And it was wonderful. We do that twice a year. But one of the talks I talked on was just, you know, recruiting and which is the lifeblood of our businesses. You know, if we stop recruiting new customers, or we call them club members, I think you all do too, with the Neolife Club, or new promoters or distributors, when we cease to do that, the business, you know, is at best can maintain, but the reality is with attrition, it's going to decline. So that lifeblood of the business is recruiting, and recruiting, we all hopefully know, is that what starts that process is conversations with people. And I challenged everybody this last weekend, how, you know, that are there that have made an investment of time and money and energy to get to this event, 3-day retreat, team training retreat. And I challenged them to think back over the past week, and I would challenge you too, this little side challenge here, not relating to social media, but it is, to think about, if we have a desire to grow our business and grow our impact and reaching people with these products and this incredible business opportunity that we all must acknowledge and realize, or we wouldn't probably be on this call, then if you look over the last 7 days, or even the last 30 days, but if we just take the last 30 days, I said, how many people have you started conversations with that has led to asking the question if they're open to taking a look, just open to learning about either A, the products, or B, the business, or both. And, you know, that really is the lifeblood of the business, starting conversations, which leads to recruiting new customers and new business partners, promoters. And so anyway, all that to say is when we're talking in the context of social media, I don't view anything any differently than that. It's a way to start conversations that lead to recruiting new customers and business partners. Okay, whether it's offline or whether it's online on social media, the principles do not change. So if you can kind of keep that thought process in mind as I go through this, I think it'll be very helpful. So let me go back to sharing my screen here. I'm working on my laptop, which I normally don't do. I guess I got to change it back to presentation here. Let's see here. There we go. So here we go. Excited about this. Okay, so the very first thing, the purpose of social media, and so many people in the beginning, get ourselves included, by the way, get this wrong, thinking the purpose of social media is, wow, the world can see this. I have a reach to the world, you know, through not only my country, but the world. And so now I can sell the products on social media. And that is not at all the purpose of social media. The purpose of social media is multifaceted in my mind. It's the modern day Rolodex for any of us that are old enough to know what a Rolodex is. I meet so many people now that don't know what a Rolodex is, but it's the modern day Rolodex. It's when I meet somebody, I want to connect with them on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, but the context here is Facebook, because that puts a face with a name, and it's a way I can go find them to connect with them and communicate with them later, now and later. It's also a way to build relationships. Just like we can build our relationships offline, we're using social media to build relationships online. And the reach is so far reaching, it's global. It's a way also we view to add value to people's lives. You know, some of the best, and many of you probably know this, but some of the best, most successful network marketers understand the value of adding value to other people's lives. Those that have, you know, that social collateral, if you will, that can just say, hey, do this, and people do it. It's because if you kind of look back over their life, they've been adding value to people's lives in one way or another. And that's why they have that social collateral, if you will. And so social media is a great way to get to add value to other people's life, to share what we're learning, to share, you know, to teach, to educate, to share our lives. Anyway, a lot of great things without getting too deep into that. The fourth purpose I view of social media is to get to share our lives, because people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And we all do. We want to do business with people we know, like, and trust. And what better way than to live with somebody? You get to know them pretty quickly, but through social media, using it correctly, we can show the world who we are, what we're about, our values, our lifestyle, all of that. And it's such a powerful way to get to share our lives. That's point 4 of this first point, the purpose of social media. And the fifth thing, as I was thinking about this, that we use social media for, and the purpose of it is attraction marketing, something that, you know, I refer to as attraction marketing, unlike selling. This is to be contrasted to selling. Selling is I'm selling a product, I'm trying to sell you something, not what we want to do. We want to attract people to us. We don't want to hunt, we want to fish. And as to use an analogy, but we'll, you know, get into this just a little bit more here in a second. So those are the 5 purposes of social media as I see it. Want to then jump next to talking about our profile and how to set it up, and something to think about. Again, this is just kind of a big 30,000 foot overview. I'm not trying to get into too much of the weeds of the details, but when you think about your profile, your Facebook profile or any profile, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, think about this. And we've all done this. If we're on social media, when we want to check somebody out, the first thing we do, if we're connected on social media, is to, or if they send us a friend request or they made a comment online, and we're like curious who they are and what they stand for, what they're all about, right? We're going to go to their profile and we're going to judge, right or wrong. We're going to judge them based on what we see, because that's all we have to judge by, right? So we're going to say, what is this person all about? Well, what is their agenda? Especially if they met me and they were very friendly and they connected with me on Facebook, and if I'm skeptical at all, I might be wondering, why were they so nice? Why did they, what do they want? And so I'm going to go to their Facebook and I'm going to look and I'm going to judge. And so I would just challenge you with looking at your own Facebook or whatever, again, social media profile it is, and say, what am I communicating? What am I communicating to the world around me? And this Facebook profile here on the screen is somebody's that I just kind of put up as an example. If this was somebody that sent you a friend request that you met and you went to see what they were all about, what would you see? What would you assume? What would you believe about them? I personally would believe they want to sell me some products from this other company. And as I look through, if I was able this is a screenshot, but if I was able to scroll down on this person's timeline, you would see post, and I've got some examples. I'm actually going to show you her timeline of what I meant earlier when I said it should not be used for selling. And I'm going to show you why. So one thing I noticed here on this timeline up in the cover photo there at the top is that she's got pictures of her products. She's obviously wanting to sell me products. I see here on the left side of the screen, she's a Ruby ambassador at Plexus Worldwide. So I know the company she's with. And as I scroll down, which I think I have some other screenshots here. No? Oh man, I took those out. Okay, so I guess I'm going to contrast that with my wife, my bride of 29 years, Nicole. You don't see that she's trying to sell products because that's not the purpose of social media. The purpose is, and yes, we want to sell people products. Yes, we want to start people as business partners, of course. But we don't, just like I wouldn't walk around with a sign and I wouldn't walk into a meeting or a live event or on the street or at the store with a sign that says, I want to sell you these Neolife products, nor should I do that here on my Facebook. So anyway, you see that in her cover photo, instead of showing products, she's showing her family. And, in the little description that you can say about yourself, she's got a description that doesn't say anything about Neolife or our products. Same thing with the intro there that I circled on the left. Same with mine. Again, we're going to say a little bit about who we are, what we do, not in the sense of you're not going to find Neolife here. And if you're scratching your head right now going, why is Allan so concerned about not communicating Neolife? Is he not proud of Neolife? I'm incredibly proud of Neolife. I love to talk about Neolife. I love to tell everybody about Neolife and their products. But the key here is I want to tell them about Neolife and their products. I don't want Google to tell them about Neolife and their products. See what happens when we, in person, I would love to share with someone that I'm with Neolife. Online, if I'm coming to judge this person and I see Neolife on here or whatever, Neolife, then, and I don't know Neolife or know what Neolife is, I'm probably not going to ask this person. I'm probably going to jump over to Google and in 10 seconds or less, I'm going to judge what I think Neolife is based on what Google tells me. And I don't know what other network marketing companies are popular there in your region there. But here I would say people would go on and go Neolife, and they'll spend about 5 or 10 seconds going, oh, it's Herbalife. It's like Herbalife, or it's like this, or it's like that company. When we all know it's not. But I never got to even know this person was curious to know what it was because they never asked me, they asked Google. So that's the purpose of why I do not have it on my profile here. And I would recommend you don't either, okay? We get lots and lots of conversations, lots, through our social media and many opportunities to tell them all about Neolife and share videos and everything else and Facebook groups we'll get to here in a minute. But I would miss out on some of those opportunities. I'm 100% convinced if my timeline looked like that and it said I was a For Ruby director at Neolife, people would be curious and they'd go to Google and ask, okay? So you can just, as examples, see how Nicole and my profile do not do that. In fact, this is a message I got on Facebook Messenger recently, where somebody said, I looked at your Facebook to see exactly what it is that you're selling, but I couldn't find anything. And that is exactly what I want. They reached out to me. That's an example of what I'm talking about. They couldn't figure it out, so they had to ask me. And that's what I want. So, okay, so that was the first point I wanted to make of the 5, is a little bit about your profile, the purpose of it, how to set it up. I want to talk about what to post next. And I would suggest posting a very balanced variety of your life. Again, I'm going to say this again. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. And what better way to show people who you are and what you're about than social media? Again, unless you can spend hours around somebody on a consistent basis. But anyway, so when you're doing that, just a general rule of thumb is the 80-20 rule. And there's lots of 80-20 rules, lots of them. But this is one. Post about 80%, even 90% of your posts having nothing to do with Neolife products or the Neolife opportunity. And have 10%, 5%, 20% max, but we'll say 20% max, posts of either the business or the products. Now, not naming them, but just about it. And I'll hopefully be able to clarify it a little better. But the bottom line here is the majority of the posts are not about our business or our products. Okay, 80-20. So we want to use social media for 5 things. Remember, connecting with people. We want to build relationships. We want to add value. We can use it to add value. We talked about that, to share our lives. And again, attraction marketing. All right. So when I talk about attraction marketing, what I'm meaning is, well, what I'm not meaning is not to look like a spammer, a salesperson, someone just throwing, products out there, hoping somebody buys them. And back to that profile I showed you a minute ago of this other lady. I'm back to her timeline. We're scrolling now down her timeline back when I took that screenshot. And you can see, here's an awesome event. I'm selling you. And notice, here's what I want you to notice. Look at how little engagement she has on these posts. Okay. This was March 6th. No likes, 0 comments. The next post, and these posts are just, this is all you see on her newsfeed. When you scroll down through her, this is what I'm seeing. Free shipping on all orders. Summer's coming, quick. Order. It's what it's just shouting. Order. Buy from me. The next one, again, look at this. 5 likes. I circled it in red there at the bottom. 5 likes. And I'm going to contrast this with, on her same profile, other posts she made that did not have anything to do with her business. Free shipping, order my products, 5 likes. What I want you to think about, and what we think about, is think of our newsfeed, whatever we post on social media, as our television channel. That is our Facebook profile is our television channel to the world, essentially, that's on Facebook. And, like we have infomercials that play, and I know people watch them. They must, and they buy stuff off them because otherwise they wouldn't run them, right? But for me, and I think most people, as we're changing the channel on the television and we get to an infomercial channel, most of us probably, change the channel. In fact, many people will change the channel when a commercial comes on a show they're watching and come back in a couple minutes. Most people don't seek out commercials, spending their time watching commercials. And likewise, we shouldn't have our Facebook profile be a commercial. When the same gal, the same lady, posts a picture of her daughter getting some award at school, you see how the engagement at the bottom here, I circled it there, 101 likes or, reactions. as opposed to 0 to 5 when she talks about the business. Okay, look at, she posted about her dog, 155, my wife, another lady, and 153 others engaged in that post there. That's the kind of stuff, that's part of the 80%, right? Talking about our life, whatever our life looks like. And by the way, just a little side note on that. So I think we're all insecure to one degree or another and thinking, hey, I'm really not that special, or my life's not that unique, or it's not going to be that attractive to others. One thing that really encourages me, because I know Nicole and I aren't that special and we're not that unique and we're not that attractive to others. On one hand, I could say that. On the other hand, every single one of us has special, unique gifts, talents, abilities, things that we like that not everybody likes, things that we do, not everybody does. But there's plenty of other people out there in the world and in our own communities and in their own states and regions and countries that are just like us in that area. Other dog people, other parents, other surfers, other gardeners, other whatever it is that you are. And so just being you doesn't have to please or attract everybody. It just has to please or attract a small little segment of the population that's like you. And as they say, your vibe attracts your tribe. And that's very comforting to me to know that even magnets that attract very well also repel. And not everybody that likes us, or, you know, not everybody's going to agree with us. Not everybody's going to like our style or our taste or our family or whatever. And that's okay. It's perfectly okay. They don't have to, but we just be us, and that's all we can do, and that's all we should do. And I would just encourage you with the same. When you think about, well, what do I post? What are you excited about? What are you excited to talk about? Who are you? What are you about? Post that. Just some ideas though. You want to post about your personal life. I think I've covered that pretty well, I hope. But you also want to post things that are educational. You know, I'm not a teacher, but there's plenty of things I'm learning and have learned and will learn that I can pass along. Books I've read, recommendations on books, things I know. And I enjoy teaching, but even, you know, regardless of whether you enjoy teaching or not, you can take time to share an educational thing on your Instagram or your Facebook or whatever the case may be. And that's a very, very much value to others who value the things that you value, right? But a simple little three word, they all start with E, thing you can remember pretty easily is post things that educate, things that entertain, things that empower or inspire. But for an E word, it would be empower others. And if you think about that, you know, if something falls into any one of those three categories, really four, when you think about anything to do with your personal life, that's good. That's good content. And then again, the 20% max would be something related to business or product. Now, when I say business or product, I want to create, I've mentioned attraction marketing. I want to create curiosity around that. So even when I posted about our team retreat this last weekend, I didn't talk about our Neo Life team retreat this past weekend. I would talk about things like getting to how wonderful it is to get to spend a weekend at a business event with people I actually enjoy being around, people who are like-minded, people who are wanting to grow themselves, people who are wanting to serve and help others, people who are wanting to make an impact with their lives. See, I'm talking about the business in that, but I'm not saying Neo Life. And same thing on the product side. You know, when I do post about the products, it's not, here's the product, buy it for me. It's, you know, and it's a testimonial of somebody, or it's maybe my own experience with a product. And if I can even leave the name of the product out, I want people asking what this incredible shake is that I'm drinking that, you know, gives me this energy or has helped me lose this weight or whatever the case may be. So when I say 20% max business product curiosity posts, it's again, creating curiosity, communicating the same message without having to name the product. So that, again, people will reach out going, what is that? What is this stuff you're talking about? And now we started a conversation, which is the first step to recruiting a new club member or promoter. So I want to also just cover real quick who is a lead, because I started off in the beginning just mentioning that so many of us on social media overlook possible conversations that could be started by people who, for example, like our posts or comment on our post, or even better yet, share our post. A lead would obviously be somebody who expressed a direct interest in the product, or would reply or message saying, hey, what was this? What is this business event you're a part of? What is this company you're a part of? What are those products you were referring to that have helped your wife? Whatever the case may be. Obviously, that's a lead. But I have got so many conversations started over the last few years. Some have led to new signups, some have not. But from people who I just reached out and simply thanked in Facebook Messenger, hey, thank you for the love on my post yesterday. Thank you for the thumbs up, the like on my post yesterday. Hey, thank you for taking time to comment in Messenger. This is in Messenger, because that's where conversations can happen. I mean, they can happen on the post too, but thank you for, taking the time to do that. Hey, thank you, so-and-so, for taking the time to share my post yesterday. That really means a lot. I cannot tell you how many times I've sent a message to somebody just saying thank you because they engaged in my post. And they've been watching enough that even though they didn't reach out to me and say, by the way, what are those products you all have been taking? I'm curious, I'm interested. Or what is that business? I'm really frustrated with my job. I'm not getting the hours at work and I'm looking for something else. Tell me about your business. Even though they won't reach out and do that. When I reach out, say, thank you for the comment. Thank you for the like. Thank you for the share. It's amazing. And it's not most of the time, but it's amazing how many times the message comes back. Oh, no problem. By the way, what is that product you're talking about in that post? No problem. By the way, what is the business that you all are a part of? And now we're in a conversation, right? So these are the ways social media can be used. And I think, again, many of us just overlook some of these ways. We're like, hey, we're glad someone liked it. We're glad they commented, or we're glad they shared, but we're not looking for how can I start, kind of going back to the beginning, how can I turn this comment, this share, this like into a conversation? Because I don't know which conversations turn into business partners. I don't know which ones turn into the next 4Ruby director at our organization. I don't know which one turns into a customer, but I know this, my job is to start conversations. My job is to connect with people, discover if they have a need. I mean, I believe everyone has a need for Neolife, but I guess discover if they think they have a need. And if they do, invite them to a solution that I know for their finances, for their time freedom, for their geographic freedom, for their health. But it all starts with conversation. So there's so many ways I keep saying Instagram. There's so many ways on social media in general to start conversations if we're looking for them and we're intentional about it. Another way we get leads from Facebook or any social media is the second bullet point here, somebody who makes their own post displaying a need that we can fill. The first thing that comes to mind as soon as I said that just now was a high school friend who posted a picture of herself holding a plaque, an award she got at work at 20 years or something at her job. And so I liked it. And I commented on it, congratulations, some kind of comment like that. But then I jump over on Messenger and I messaged her and I said, Carrie, congratulations on your 20 years with your company. You must, it's awesome. And on your award and all that, I go, that's a long time. You must really love it there. And what did she write back? By the way, do most people love their jobs? Most don't love their jobs. I think we all know that. And so the odds are pretty good that I'm sending that to someone who doesn't love their job, but I don't know. Go, you must love it there. And it wouldn't matter to me if she was there 6 months or 6 years or 60 years. I would say, you must love it there. Wow, 6 months is a long time. You must love it there. Wow, 6 years is a long time. You must love it there. In her case, 20 years. Wow, it's a long time. You must love it there. And she writes back, no, I don't. I wish I could be doing something else. Here's why. Now I'm in a conversation and I just heard a need. Do we have a solution to somebody who doesn't like what they do for their occupation? Yes, we do. So again, a lot of times I'll see people post things or say things on social media that allows me to go start a conversation with them because I've already heard the need. Now I just need to start the conversation. And the last bullet point here of who is a lead, another thing that many people overlook, I think, is when somebody sends a friend request, I never accept a friend request ever without sending them a message. And likewise, I don't send friend requests without sending the person a message because, this is a little side note here, how many times have I got a comment or a message from somebody and I'm like, who is this? All I have to do is click on their profile and click message. I'm gonna message them, and I can read my message to them from when we first connected, when I sent them a friend request, let's say. Oh, hey, so-and-so, nice to meet you at the, soccer field where our daughters were playing on team XYZ. I send that message. It's almost like my notes. I know exactly where I met this person now because I sent them a message when I sent them a friend request. And so anyway, likewise, whenever somebody sends me a friend request, instead of just accepting it, if I do, I'm going to turn around and send a message. Hey, thank you for the friend request, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm going to start a conversation. So again, if we realize the lifeblood of the business is recruiting and all recruiting starts with conversations, then I'm looking on social media and in person everywhere. I'm looking for conversations to start. So if someone's going to send me a friend request, why wouldn't I start a conversation with them? Hey, thank you for the friend request. Blah, blah, blah. Where are you from? How'd you find me? Who are you? Or whatever the case may be. So that's a few things about who is a lead. And the last thing I want to talk about, and the thing that I'm probably most excited about, is Facebook groups to build your business. And so I'm going to go through this very quickly because I have a lot of slides here. But imagine this, if you will. Imagine you're in a room. This is a European, I think, convention, but NeoLife convention. But imagine you're in a room with a bunch of other promoters and distributors in the room, and everybody is inviting their prospective customers and maybe future promoters into this meeting. And they're all sitting there around, surrounded by all of us promoters. And one by one, the different promoters would stand up, grab the mic, and quickly share what the business has meant to them, or what the products, their health experience or their health testimonial with the products. And that's just like popcorn. People were just sharing their stories. Can you imagine the social proof that our prospects that we invited into this room would see and experience? I mean, I don't know how they would walk out of there and not say, how do I sign up and where, right? That's the power of these Facebook groups that I'm talking about. These Facebook groups are powerful. And we've been using them now for about 2 years, just 2 years. And in the past 2 years, our business has grown a lot more than it did in the first 4 years of building the business. But the Facebook groups create this sense of community. They provide that social proof for our prospects, like that meeting room would. But the meeting room, how can we duplicate that, let alone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? But in Facebook group, it is active and alive 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The social proof they see there. So it's wonderful. It's also great training and support for our current customers that are in our Facebook group. So they get to see what's all the stories and the testimonials that are being posted in the group. Very, very powerful for customer retention. And we all want that, I'm sure. Also, we're getting referrals from prospects even that are in the group. They haven't even signed up yet, but they're seeing everyone post their testimonials in the group. And they're inviting in their sister or their mother or their brothers or their coworkers into the group. Like, you've got to check this out, because they know somebody needs the products. And so we're getting a lot of referrals from others in the group as a result. And again, I mentioned this already, but customer retention is definitely increased since putting all of our customers in a Facebook group. So what we do, we have about 4 different Facebook groups. We have one, this top left here, that we use for, now the red is just a title I put on there. It's not what people see in the group, just to be clear. But one is for customer prospecting. We have another one, top right, for business prospecting. We have a Facebook group for our specific team. And then we have a corporate, Neolife has a corporate training group as well. So the 2 I want to mention here as I start to wrap this up is the customer prospecting group, top left, and the promoter or distributor prospecting group, top right. Okay, so we'll start with the first one, the promoter or the club member or customer one. And the purpose of this that we created is to recruit members and to retain current customers or club members. So we also want to know what the target audience is. The target audience is prospects, prospective product users, club members, okay? And of course, club members, because once somebody does join and sign up, they're still in the Facebook group. So now they get to be resold on why they made that choice. And what we post in this group, we encourage everybody, promoters, club members, well, not prospects, but promoters and members, to post their product experience in the group as they have an experience, as they lose some weight, or as they notice their energy increasing, or as they, whatever the case may be, share that in the group. And I'll give you some examples. So that's the point of these groups. So that social proof, that social validation that our prospects are getting to see. And of course, our club members are getting to see as well. So how we do this is, obviously we invite our prospective. The group has to be set up first of all, so I'm not going into that detail. But once it's set up, then we have a place, the meeting room, the 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week meeting room to invite our prospects. So we meet somebody, we start a conversation, we discover they have a need. What do we invite them to? We invite them, if they have Facebook, we invite them into the Facebook customer prospecting group. Ours is called the Neolife Healthy Living Community. And so we invite them in there. And so when we invite somebody, we never just invite someone into a Facebook group without letting them know we invited them. So I don't have to ask permission to invite, because Facebook, when I invite somebody into a group, it sends them a notification saying, hey, Allan just invited you to this Facebook group. Would you like to accept it or would you like to decline it? So they have the choice. But we do let them know to expect it. So if I invite you into a Facebook group because we meet, we start a conversation, I discover a need that you have, say on the health side, and you're open to learning about Neolife, I'm going to invite you to the Facebook group. And I'm going to send you this message that says, hey, by the way, I just invited you to a Facebook group. Okay. So never invite somebody without telling them you invited them. Always send the message letting them know that you invited them. And we have a sample message as well. That I'll show you here in a second. I think I have a slide for that. But a simple acronym that we use to remember the 3 steps of inviting someone to a Facebook group is ATM. And that's not automatic teller machine, but it's add, tag, and message. Okay, so we're going to add or add them to the group, which is really an invite to the group. We're going to tag them in a post in the group, like a video we want them to see, or a Zoom, or a pre-recorded message, something to prospect them to share the Neolife difference on the product side, because this is the product group. And then we're going to send them a message to let them know we invited them, as I already covered a second ago. We're going to always send them a message on Facebook Messenger, ideally, since we're talking about Facebook, letting them know we invited them. Okay, so we're going to add them to the group. We're going to tag them in the comment section of the post that you want them to see. And you're going to send them a message letting them know that what you did, that you added them to a group or invited them to a group. So that's the add tag message, which is the acronym ATM. All right. I'm not going to read this for sake of time, but this is a sample message of what I send to people that I've invited to a Facebook group. So if this is being recorded, you'll have access to this here on the screen, but it pretty much simply tells them that what I did and that I invited them to the group, why I invited them to the group, letting them know that they must still accept the invite or they're not in the group until they do. And then also directing them to, this is actually old because I see units here. Facebook changed units to guides. There's no such thing as units in Facebook groups anymore. It's called guides. It's like categories basically, or modules within a group that you can set up. So, but letting them know to go check out the guides where they can find other testimonials that have been posted in there previously. So that's the purpose of the message. This is our Facebook group that I was just referring to on the health side, and that's where you invite somebody. I drew a red circle around it there on the right. You click invite, type in their name. As long as you're Facebook friends with them, you'll be able to invite anybody into a Facebook group, of any Facebook group that you're a member of. And then some people wonder, well, how will we know whose prospects are whose when you have a community group like this? Just know this, that when you click on members of any group that's private, as long as it's a private group, that's why we have these groups set up as private, then whoever invited them will be able to be seen by the admins or admin of the group. So I can look and see exactly here who invited Brian Foss. He was invited by his wife, Carrie Foss, that I underlined there. So we can see who's invited who to the group. And so it's an easy way to track whose prospect is whose if there was ever an issue or a question after the fact, which in 2 years we've had 0 issues here in North America. So, but if somebody's wondering that. The units are actually, again, called guides. Facebook changed that here a month or 2 ago, and I just haven't updated the slide, but we create different guides. And guide number 1 is always the educational videos or PowerPoints or, Zooms that we want our prospect to see first thing. That's what we tag them in when we invite them into the group. And then we create other guides like guide 2, that is where we can file a lot of the testimonials that get posted in the group. So you can even alphabetize it. So someone can go look up ADHD or varicose veins or acne or depression or whatever they want to look up. We have different health talks that have been posted in the group, and we categorize them in their own guide or unit, formerly unit. So that can be organized by digestive health or immune support or mental health, different health talks that we have in the group. And again, the magic ingredient in these Facebook groups is the testimonials. And so here's some examples real quick of what, I won't read them, but you can see here's a lady posting her before and after of a substantial weight loss and talking about it. Another lady posting her weight loss experience and mentioning a few words. Another one talking about losing a few pounds and being down a few inches. Her wedding ring is fitting again in time for a wedding. Someone else showing their before and after their blood work, before and after of the Nutrients organic skincare, blood pressure down, just people just posting their experiences here in the group. So just a few examples to share with you kind of what I'm talking about. Okay, the last group would be the business prospecting group. Ours here in North America is called the Ideal Business. And same idea, same exact concept. The only difference is these are people that have expressed an interest in learning more about the business. Well, if you've expressed an interest in learning more about the business, we're going to invite you into both groups. Obviously, the healthy living group, because if you're interested in the business, you're going to be interested in the products. And we're going to invite you into the Ideal Business Facebook group to learn more about the business. And in this group is where the business presentations are. Again, what's the purpose of this group? Not to recruit members, but to recruit promoters and to recognize promoters. So this is where all the recognition takes place. Excuse me. Just need to take a quick drink here. So the target audience, and that's important to know, well, who's the target audience when we're posting in any particular group, is prospective promoters. And what we post in here, 3 things primarily, not health testimonials, because we're prospecting business here. So we're going to welcome new promoters. Now think about this. You invite a prospective promoter into a Facebook group like this, and they're seeing so-and-so being welcomed as a new promoter, and so-and-so being welcomed as a new promoter, and someone else being welcomed as a new promoter. And what's the social proof there? It's that other people are joining this business. I will not be the only one. And that's important. to show our prospects that. So we're going to welcome new promoters. And who welcomes the new promoters? Their upline. Their upline is the one making the post in here, welcoming their new promoter. We're going to recognize step-ups. Who's recognizing step-ups? The upline. The upline. I'm going to post in here saying, hey, congratulations to Joe. He just made senior manager this month. Okay, that sort of thing. And then we're going to, third thing is we're recognizing trips earned. So who's going to do that? The upline. Upline posts in here, hey, congratulations to, Dwight Johnson. He just earned a trip to leadership school. He just earned a trip to a world team trip. He just earned a trip to whatever the trip may be, if they earn a trip. So that's the kind of stuff. If you could imagine our promoters that are in here, our prospects that are in here going, they're looking around, right, in this virtual meeting room going, wow, people are joining. Other promoters are joining. Wow, people are having success. They're being acknowledged for their success. Wow, they're winning or earning trips. This is amazing. Maybe I should join this business. That's the point. Okay, post examples of this. So I told you what we posted here. Let me just give you some quick examples, then I'll open it up for Q&A here. Gone a little bit long. We're welcoming new promoters. Here's, they don't have to look any certain way, but here's someone welcoming their new promoter. Here's somebody else welcoming their new promoter. Here's somebody else welcoming their new promoter. Step-ups, rank advancements, whatever you want to call it. Here's somebody acknowledging their new director, someone acknowledging their new manager, someone acknowledging their new senior manager, someone congratulating their new manager, congratulating their new senior manager, congratulating their new director, trips earned, someone congratulating someone in their downline for earning a trip to leadership school, which we have here in North America, me making a post, congratulating someone for earning a trip to World Team. And so hopefully that helps give you an idea of how we're using these groups. They are so, so powerful. But as I shared here in North America, and even when I did this training for Neolife Europe, it is critically important that we all work together and collaborate to recruit mini story posts. We talk to our customers and they say, yeah, I'm feeling better. I'm experiencing this. Great. And this is what I mean by recruit. Would you please post that? Would you share that in the Neolife Healthy Living group, which is what ours is called? That would encourage so many people. Would you please share that? And some will and some won't, but it's like getting reviews or whatever. Nobody really gives a review hardly unless they're asked, right? So we need to ask for people to post these, our promoters, our club members, to post in the group. So again, we invite to, using the ATM, add them, tag them, message them to one or both groups if they're a business prospect. And then we obviously have to follow up with the prospects that we add to the group. The group does a lot of work for us, but we can't expect the group to do it all. We still have to follow up, see if they watch the presentation, whatever the presentation is, and hopefully help them get started.